We're going to go ahead and start our meeting a little late today at 7. Appreciate everybody's patience with the technical hiccups. We do have somebody from the public today, so we're going to go ahead and give them space if they have any questions or if they want to bring something up. Echo?
Uh, Hi. No, I am one of the grant applications that should be being reviewed today.
Hmm.
So I'm on in case there's questions or clarity or input. And I'm here for it. I'm really excited to be learning and listening and part of this.
Awesome. All right, cool. So basically, the way it's going to work, we're going to start going through our grants. I believe yours is the second on the list today. So once we start this grant application process, if we do have any specific questions for you, we can go ahead and ask in that moment. If we don't have any specific questions, if it's just more us talking over about things to each other, you know, it'll just be an opportunity for you to kind of listen in and, as you said, just kind of be about it. And so glad you could be in. But
Thank you for having me.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. All right. So we'll go ahead and move on to the actual meat and potatoes of all this. Meg, if you want to go ahead and make sure that public is muted for the rest of meeting.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and in the pulling my stuff up right now as well. So we're going to start with Sharp, Karen Elizabeth, for the uh, MBPF programming expansion. Um, did anybody have any red flags for this one? Anything pop up or any questions? Anything that anybody wants to cover with it?
I think my only note is, and we've talked about this several times,
Mhm.
is the amount of the grant that goes to rent. So we're talking about community benefit, and most of it is just the cost of location.
Yeah. Again, I think that's going to be something that with the agreement that we created with the Worcester Art Museum, my hope is that the conversation in regards to rent and how much money from these grants go to the venue spaces, we will see that become reduced, particularly for WAC funded events and projects. But I 100% agree with you. It's a lot of money goes to venue space in the city. Um, but
Like 60%.
which is which is a lot. It's I that is something that I want to see more venues willing to cut down on. If anything, at least just for our applicants. Um,
I also think that the audience expectation seems inflated for this. Like they're saying that it's going to reach, how many did they say? 500 people? That seems high
okay.
for a poetry festival.
Well, I hear you for sure. I will push back a little bit. The National Baseball Poetry Festival has been doing things for a good bit in the Worcester area, so they already do have pull. Um, and Worcester is a poetry city, and
Okay.
so a lot of people do pull in for poetry readings and poetry events in the city.
Okay.
So, but yeah, definitely hear you. If there are no other notes, though, again, just a quick reminder: 7:30 is a hard out for somebody for Angelique, so we will lose quorum at that point. So let's try to keep discussions down to need to know stuff. But we'll move on to the next one, which is the 508 Cheers Inc. Were there any red flags, any questions that anybody had? I didn't really notice anything off the top of my head. When I'm looking at my notes,
I
I'm
had
here for
a
cooking programs.
I had a couple questions.
Okay.
Um, in reading the application, it looks like there's like a single food safe certified person. when they're expecting 100 students. I'm just wondering if that's going to be enough facilitators to be able to manage that many students. I also, it didn't look like um in any of their documentation, it didn't look like they'd necessarily received the food permit yet for the location.
Mm. If I'm not mistaken, the location was at
Food hub.
the food hub, and so the food hub is going to have all the permutation that they're going to need because that place is built for things like this.
That's what I thought, but I was confused about that in the application because in the documentation from the food hub, it calls out that now that they have this space, they can go through the food permit process. So I just want some clarification on that if that had been obtained, because if it isn't obtained, I don't know how the event can move forward.
Um, so let's go ahead and we can bring in Echo to like answer that question. I think that's fine.
So the first thing you mentioned is that there would be about 100 kids and a Serve Safe certified food manager. And this is a series of programming, so it would be 8 classes broken down into 10 to 15 kids per session.
Okay,
And
that makes a
so
lot more sense.
yeah, and I'm Serve Safe Manager certified, but also the authentic cultural, person who would be coming in to do the cooking, that person would also be Serve Safe Manager certified. Um, Now, in terms of the food permitting, so Worcester Regional Food Hub, if you are selling food and you are using their organization as part of selling your food as a commercial kitchen, you do need a food permit. The reason why I included that email is because there was a conversation between us just re-clarifying that I am not selling food, I am simply hosting cooking courses. Therefore, I would not need the food permit for what I'm doing. So I went ahead and had all the conversations to make sure that we could acquire the space and deliver that type of programming in there and that youth were allowed in there. And we also provided them a copy of our liability insurance as well. And they said we're
Mhm.
ready to schedule as soon as we get funding or want to schedule to start doing programming there.
Amazing. Those were the two things that I wanted to make sure that we got answered. So
Thank you.
I have no additional questions.
All right. Anybody else have any other thoughts or questions?
It looks good to me.
Yeah. No, I was excited about this one. So, all right, cool. Well, then we can move on to the next one. And then again, Echo, feel free to hang out if you'd like, or if you don't, that's totally fine as well. But appreciate you being here to answer those clarifying questions for us. Um, cool. Let's go ahead and move on to James Kobialka. Kobialka?
The tuber attorney.
Yes, the tuber attorney. Um,
I need everyone to know that I am restraining myself from making potato-based jokes.
Totally fair. I know this one seems like a lot of fun, but I don't have any notes for it. It seemed pretty cut and dry as to how they broke down their needs. But did anybody
Yeah,
else have any questions?
no questions, no notes from me.
All right, cool. We will move on to the next one, which is the Get Up and Dance.
This is DQ'd. They list Worcester County, not city, as their location.
That's weird because I saw that and their places on Park Ave.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, even then, Worcester County can still you can still
Yeah.
apply as long as it's happening in the city.
Right, but they said that the location of the event would be in Worcester County on their
And
application.
later he talks about during business hours the things will happen.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, I missed that, so I didn't. So, okay, cool. Well, I'll go back through and
Nope,
review
you're
it
good.
again.
This is one of the reasons why we do this, so that everyone can make sure they don't miss anything so everyone gets a score in.
Yeah, Meg, can we just add a note somewhere that we need to review the guidance for how to fill out the application on that so that we don't run into this again?
Sorry, I was muted. Yep.
I
All
learned
right.
a lot
Um,
about counties this week, knowing where things are now, though, just so y'all know. People were
no,
about to get
it's
DQ'd when I didn't see Worcester on the sheet. I was like, get out of here.
no, so true. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, the Worcester Refugee Assistant Project. Um, I had no notes on this.
No notes
Tim,
from me.
yeah,
Is this ESL or art? Y'all know I'm going to ask that question because I don't know if it's a educational thing, and I know it's through art. I just don't know because of the end goal what it actually is.
The
So
books, beats, and brushes?
yeah, the fundamental goal is for them to learn English. So it's ESL classes using art as
yes.
a median, right? So
Yeah.
I
that's where I'm like, the outcome is, but the median is art. So it's just one of the questions I had, and I didn't know if anybody thought that.
Yeah, no, I think that this still fits within the this still fits within what we are looking for um because it uses art as a vehicle for a deeper learning or ESL. Art is still definitely an important is the central part of the end goal being that.
Yeah, to
So,
me it seemed like ESL was like a beneficial outcome of utilizing music and art.
yeah. Um but did anybody else have any other things that they wanted to bring up with that one? Okay. The next one is the Cars in the Park event. That one is not taking place in Worcester, so we'll move on to the next one, which is the musical inspiration, The Voices We Carry. Um,
Was anyone else able to figure out what type of performance this was? I couldn't, from the application, I couldn't tell if it was like this person was performing with an accompanist, if there was a choir involved. I just couldn't tell what type of a performance it was. There was a lot of conversation about storytelling, but I I don't know. I wasn't
so
quite
I believe
sure.
this is a recital. It's going to be a mixture of, as it says, open to all. The event invites audiences to experience music and storytelling to promote empathy, cultural understanding, and civic pride. Um, so.
I know there's an organist, so there'll be some piano playing.
Yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah.
in the
So
budget.
So my thinking is it's going to be a mixture of stories being read probably in between songs. So,
Okay.
so if you've
It'll be
ever been
like one of
to
those PBS animated shows where a character would just walk around and then you hear some music.
exactly.
I grew up as a PBS kid, so I know exactly what you're talking
There you go.
about. Okay.
But anybody have any other questions or anything? All right. The next one is the Making Space Conversations on Life, Death, and What Matters Most Death Literacy Program. Um, I just wanted to point out that $1,700 for travel is a wild number. Um,
I does this meet our guidelines? Like, to me, this seems more like group therapy. It doesn't seem like it's really talking about anything like arts or music or anything even like tangentially associated with it. Like, I think it's a great program. I just don't know that it meets our guidelines.
Oh, that's a good question. I
I wrote a note that says there is storytelling in this, but I still think it's therapy.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that's one of those areas that is a gray area. So because there's storytelling and because we still are open, like, and as a storyteller myself, I think storytelling is an art form. I agree with you guys that there is a group therapy aspect to this, 100%. But without getting too far into the weeds, I would probably also say that storytelling in general has a therapeutic element to it at all times.
Hmm.
Um, in my opinion. So I think that the way this was presented makes it seem a little bit more like a group therapy get together, but I didn't. I still graded it as if it was an okay thing for us to look at
Okay.
personally. I didn't give it a lot. I didn't I mean it's not high up on my list of things because of things like the way the budget was broken down. Because again, $1,700 for travel is a lot of money, and I can't imagine why that amount is there in the budget. And there's some other things.
Oil changes.
Very fair. It's getting more expensive to have a car. So, um, all right. But does anybody else have any other questions or any other thoughts?
I
Mm-mm.
like it. I just wish it was better written.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I wish it was better written for the application, and then again, that budget needs to be reviewed. Um, all right, we'll move on to the next one then. Brendan Melican, Hidden Light: The Life and Work of Bill Griffiths. Um, I didn't have any notes on this one. This seemed pretty cut and dry.
Same.
Time.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and also because I'm staring at my Excel docs and stuff right now, I'm not seeing everybody's face on my Zoom. So if somebody raises a hand, uh, just just interrupt me and let me know. Um, okay. Um, the next one is Faces of Worcester. You belong here. Oh, sorry.
Uh,
I skipped over the Winchendon Music Festival because it's not in Worcester County, but the next one that is available would be the Faces of Worcester.
no notes.
Same.
I have a note.
Okay.
And again, it's one of these things where you walk by something and you don't see it. I don't see the benefit. I know it's great for a display of someone able like, but just having something somewhere sometimes,
I
I don't
mean,
know.
yeah, no, I think that's a valid point. I think that's why sometimes murals can become a little bit grinding on me these days because like everybody wants to do a mural and wants to have people pay to have a mural, but like eventually when you're in a city with enough murals, it all kind of becomes part of the background.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
mean,
like
counterpoint, wouldn't that be an argument against any type of art in a public space in general? Because if there's art in a hospital, you're not necessarily going to see it. But like, unless you're one of the people who see it. So, I mean, to me that seems like I think it's a good point, but just to like counter that a little bit, I think that that same argument could be made for like any art in a public space.
no, and I think that is a valid point. I think that with that question and with our feelings, the last thing that we put on the last part of our scores, that last 1 to 5 points
The
or 0 to 5
innovation.
points,
Yeah.
the impact and innovation part, that's where we really get to put our personal opinions and our feelings to weigh to what constitutes as art or what excites us or what we see as new or innovative. And that's where we really get to put our thumb on the scale for who we want to support or what projects we see that we want to support. So,
By the
but
way,
yeah,
if you minimize your Zoom window, it will pop up with just the whomever is talking, so you would be able to see that.
I mean, yeah, the talking part is fine. It's when people use the raise the hand features. But thank you for
Okay.
letting me know. I appreciate that. Um, okay, so the next one is the Worcester Artist Group Open Your Mouth, a free speech exchange. I had no notes on this one.
My only note was that they mention a couple of um like other people who are going to be involved, bread and puppet theater and like specific artists, but they don't have any letters of support from them.
Yeah, that was yeah. I remember you mentioning that. That was a really good point too. And I think that I'm going to go ahead and address that now, just as an umbrella thing. I think this is something that when we're looking at 2026 and we're looking at the next grant cycle, um, when we are doing scoring, I think we when we break down the scoring, what goes where, We need to be clear about if you're going to mention somebody, you need to have some sort of letter or something that would show us that you are in fact, or they are in fact going to be that they're excited and they want to be involved. And so like I think that yeah, I think that's just something that we're going to have to like push in the future that like that's going to impact, maybe I think the third one is where we talk about resume and stuff, and that might
Yeah.
be where we say like if you don't have everybody's, like a letter of intent or anything like that or commitment, that's going to take away points from that third section. Again, just to make sure everyone, is on the up and up
Yep.
uh, for that. Um, but if nobody else has any other thoughts, we can go over to the flamenco, teaching choreography and performance from flamenco, Worcester's flamenco tradition, art and passion 2026. Um,
Tickets are
that
expensive and salaries. There's a lot towards salary.
also
It,
not in Worcester, Draycote.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
it's not?
Yeah, Draycote
Oh,
is in,
oh, I missed that.
well, that is their that's where their studio business or residential address is. And
It's not
Drake
in Worcester County.
Drake
Okay.
No,
County is
that's
is that
not.
Middlesex? Yeah, Middlesex.
Mhm.
I also have learned a lot about counties. So,
Yeah, I totally
um,
missed that one. Is that the same
So
for the
is
one
that the
after
next
that too?
person is in the city and it's a duplicate?
yeah,
Well, yeah.
flamenco tradition. I know that one threw me off too.
So that
Right,
one's a
because
dupe,
this
but it's Auburn.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So I had no notes about the Auburn one, and yeah, I like.
my only note
Okay,
was that Clara Ramona was listed on the other one. Also, $100 an hour for a salary seems really high for this.
yeah, like $100 an hour, and yeah, like what I was going to say was, in fact, that they tried this last year where they would apply for multiple grants, but then if you looked at all the people involved, it would be the same event and the same people. Um, and this is something that I think we might need to send them a personal email about and remind them, hey, this event gets one application, not one person gets to put in an application for the same event. Um, it shouldn't impact their chances. They shouldn't think of it like, you know, yeah. So like I don't know if that's just a unknowing thing or if that's something where they think they can like that we aren't going to realize it or catch it. So it's just something we should probably let them know in the future
Yeah.
not to do that. I'm gonna move on. The next one, the event is not happening, or it's in Ware, and Ware is not in Worcester County. It is a little bit over, but I can't remember which county it is.
Oh, the Karen Carpenter one?
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, and then the next one after that is also not in Worcester County. That's their
oh.
residentials in Montague. Uh,
Franklin County.
Yep, Franklin County. Thank you. So, moving on to the next one, the Boys and Girls Club of Worcester. We have the Play It Forward, visiting community artist music program. Um, I had no notes on that one. Pretty cut and dry.
I
The
like
only note, oh, go Aaron.
yeah, I like this a lot. They said that they're really committed to making sure that it's local artists that are doing
Mhm.
this, but there's nothing, they don't talk about how they're ensuring that they're local artists, that they're not like from Boston or pulling in from New York. They're just saying that that's a priority for them.
And that's a good point. Again, that's I've noticed that on a couple other people scoring, a lot of notes where people are like practically not scoring projects because they don't have all these things. In the past, we have not let that be a disqualifier. Um, if you want to impact some of the scores, like I said earlier, the third box is a good one for that.
Yeah.
Um, but for right now, that is not something that we disqualify people for. Um, but it is something that, we impact the scores because, like, do we believe that the event can happen in the way that they presented it? Um, we have less assurances because we have less, we don't have letters of commitment from people. We don't have letters of commitment from venues. So if they don't have that information, maybe they might not be able to do the event in the way they presented it. So that's currently where we're at. That's how it works. Again, moving into the next year, that is going to be top of my list, us meeting to have discussions about this stuff so that by the time we are reviewing these things together, we are moving forward, with the same knowledge and the same understanding of what's going on in each score.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next one though. That's sculpting our stories. I thought this one was great.
Yeah,
But
I
like
have a
no.
other than that,
question about storage. If they pay their storage fee not in 2026, can they use that money? Because there's a line item of $1,000 for storing the sculptures. So I just wanted to, you pay that monthly
Oh,
to what I know. So I just want to make sure they don't lose their stuff.
oh, that's a good
um,
clarifier.
yeah, I mean, my understanding is as long as it's within, and Meg, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's within a year post the grant, so if they're going to be paying the storage fees through 2026 and into the first half of 2027, they can still use the money for that.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I think that's what we got clarification from Greg from MCC is that
Yeah.
it's a year out from when they receive the award letter. So they're
Oh,
going to
nice.
receive the award letter probably in January or February.
Yeah.
Um, so it'd be a year out from there.
Yeah. But good question. Next one is going to be DQ'd because they're from Amherst. Um, and the next two is from the Clinton Senior High School. One of them is the guitar program one is not being held in Worcester, so that's an automatic DQ. However, the Mechanics Hall one is in this area. Last year we had a field trip apply, and we can give money to field trips if we deem it that it is a viable thing. If we think that it's going to be worthwhile, so we can score it. Just let that inform your scores. So like for this, for me, is going to be a lower one because it's a field trip that I don't think will have a lasting impact for Worcester proper.
Yeah.
So that's just my observations. If anybody else has anything they want to add to that,
Agreed.
cool. All right. Deborah Du Bois, the Beyond the Common Worcester tour. This one felt weird because I didn't see anything that showed that they would be an expert on Worcester. Um, I know they said they were going to work with some people to figure out how to do a tour, but
This
I want to.
was this was Deborah is one of the people who also had the tour
Hmm.
listed in our last batch as well.
That's right. So, well, that's a good point. But did anybody say anything else that popped up to them? Okay. We'll move on to the Thicknick. Um,
I don't get it, but not everything is for me to get. So that's all I'm going to
True.
say.
Yeah, well, I mean, free music, free event for people outside of the clothing exchange part. So yeah, I'm here for it. And Leanne does a great job over at the Thicknick. So, or the Thicket is her
I
store.
think I need to like connect with more people because this is the first time I heard of it. And I'm like, I'm reading it. I read it like three
Oh,
times and I need to understand it more because
plus
there's not
size
enough.
vintage.
Yeah.
That's what you need to know.
Say that again.
Plus size vintage.
Still don't get it. Nope.
Well, vintage clothes that are for people who have bigger bodies.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, turn the page together is the next one. I had nothing popped up at me for this one.
Same.
Okay. Songwriters in the Woo, by Sarah French. It's free music thing, but nothing popped up. Anybody else have anything?
Nope.
Okay. The Montepalooza is going to be DQ'd because that's not happening in Worcester. Brandon, he got a fellowship award from us last year. So this is his event that he does. I want to say it's every Wednesday. It's been held
Yeah.
at Electric Haze. My only concern about this one, I think it's a great thing, a great event, but my only concern really realistically is aligned with the fact that Electric Haze is going to be sold sometime this year. That is public knowledge now, so I can say that. Um, I don't know if they're still going to be having that event there at that space once it does get sold, but I that doesn't mean that the event can't still happen. They'll probably move over to Hotel Vernon or something.
Is that because nobody wants to walk down that street anymore?
Hmm?
Is it because nobody wants to walk down that street anymore?
Man, I walk down that street all the time.
No, I'm saying, like, I just hear so many people say crazy stuff about that
I
street, and
know,
I'm
I
like,
know, I
what
know.
is?
It
Yeah.
just makes me shake my head. All right, so it is 7:30. We did have a hard out. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to make sure and honor that for Angelique. So we're going to stop at the Worcester Chamber Society Music Society. This is where we're going to start for our final meeting. Um, just a reminder for that meeting. That is where we are also going to be announcing our scores. Please, 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 please be there for that. It is very important that we are all there so that we can put our scores in. We're going to go through the rest of these and then we'll go through the fellowships. The fellowships have been fixed. So those are going to be good for you to go. If you already have put scores into the fellowship, just make sure um, to double check your scoring sheets. We fixed up the rubrics on those. So make sure that you're putting the appropriate scores and you're scoring it the way that fits the rubric. Um, because we had from last year, we had the projects rubric on the fellowship section. And so that's what we had this year again. And we caught that thankfully. So I think what we did last year was just kind of on vibes. And I want to make sure that we're not giving people scores on vibes alone, but on the rubrics. But the fifth one is still there for those vibes. So, uh, other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, end it 7:31, so we can stop recording.